Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to you on this morning. It is Wednesday, June the 12th, June the 12th, 2024. And I want to welcome you all to Purpose to Journey Counseling LLC. Locked in. We are still locked in for the year 2024. So we are very, very grateful that you have joined us on this morning. It's June 12th. It is 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But whether you're catching us at 7 live at 7 a.m. or you catch us later in the day, later in the month, later in the week, or even later in the year, we want to say welcome to you. Good morning. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and one of the therapists of Purpose Journey Counseling LLC, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So again, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we always ask, because if you're scrolling and you just catching us for the first time, these messages are meant to be inspirational and encouraging. They're not very long. But so that's why we ask you to please take a moment to like the broadcast. Please like our pages. Please follow us on your preferred social media platform. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also share. Let's share. Again, they're inspirational. It's encouraging. It's empowering for the day, for the week, for the month, for our lives in general. So we definitely want to share, and let's interact and engage in the comment section. So before we go any further, every time we are together, I always want to give you this information. If you don't have this number, save it in your phone. The number is 24/7. You can call and text this number if you're having or experiencing a mental health emergency or someone else is. The number for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, the number is 988. Again, the number is 988. So please make sure you have this number stored in your phone. Make sure you have it available. I always say this, sometimes when we're in a crisis, it's really, really hard to know what to do. So it's good to have these type of resources just readily available so that you can call, you can text, you can do what you need to do. And of course, they will also give guidance if there's something else that needs to be done. They will provide that information for you as well. So thank you for just taking a moment to store that information. So it is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we have our Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday. What is Wellness Wednesday? Wellness Wednesday is when we get together for a short period of time, just a matter of minutes, in the morning. Usually we just try to stay around 15, try to keep it around 15. We're going to try to keep it around 15, but we just have a little bit of a conversation about something, essentially just some encouragement, some empowerment regarding a particular topic. Now, all year this year, we have been speaking on specific themes all year. And the theme for the month of June is image. So at the beginning of the month, we started off, we had our podcast and we were talking about body shaming. Last week, we were talking about what image do we want to have. So today we're going to continue along the lines of the theme of image. And this morning, we are going to talk about you are not your past. Whew, that is a huge statement. 5 words, but it says a lot. You're not your past. This is important when we're talking about image because a lot of times people like to define us by our past, the mistakes we've made, who we used to be, what we used to do, which I always find to be interesting because a popular belief is that people don't change. That's a popular belief. Unfortunately, it is not true. Even though a lot of people think that people don't change, people can't evolve and become different, people can't improve. You know, I kind of ascertain that comes from the notion of because we just rather define people with how we've known them. I rather remember you how you were in high school. Now, I'm going to say why that's why that's a problem for me. For me personally, I graduated from high school 22 years ago. Now, some people may have graduated, who are watching this, graduated less time ago. Some people longer ago. And I would just like to set the record straight. Whatever, however long it's been, I may not know you now. I may not have interacted with you since high school. So maybe that's the most recent memory I have of you. But I'm also going to be fair and say, but I also know that speaking of my personal experience, anyone that I graduated with, or even that I saw in high school, I still saw you. If I've never seen you since or whatever, I only know you from back then. That was still 22 years ago. So how would it be fair for me to define you by your past? How would it be fair for me to only say, well, all I know is what I know, right? But there's still more to you. There's a lot more to you. And I don't know who that person is. So I'm not going to do you a disservice by defining you by what you were in high school or how you were as a child. It's interesting because sometimes when you have these conversations, like it happened, it was some years ago. I know I was an adult and it wasn't even my situation. Someone else was talking to some guy and some family member was just like, oh yeah, I remember them because back when they were kids, and that was the way she defined us, by how we acted when we were children. And this was some years back, but we were still adults. And I'm like, but I honestly, she was defining it, and not from memory. It was a critique. It was a judgment based off how we were when we were children or something we did that she didn't like. And it was just interesting because we know a lot of people bring up our past. A lot of us, remember, we define ourselves or other people by their past because that's all I know. Okay, well, then maybe you need to get to know the person, or maybe you just shouldn't speak on the person because you don't know them currently. So sometimes it's other people bringing up our past, but sometimes it's us too. And so we have to be very, very careful with that. We say we don't want people to bring up our past. We say we don't want people to define us by our past. We say it all the time, and yet and still we do it. Well, I came from a broken home. Well, when I was little, this. Well, 5 years ago, this. That's 5 years ago, still your past. Sometimes, like if we're adults, we think our past is our childhood or our adolescent years. If you're 50, your past is 45. Your past is 40. Your past is even 49 if you really want to be, technical. Your past is anything that has already happened, the experiences that you've already had, the things you've already done, the thoughts you've had, all of those things. That is your past. Even when we first started talking this morning, that's the past. We're moving forward. So we have to be careful not to do that, because sometimes the first person that people meet is our past. We like to bring up our past because sometimes we use it as excuses and crutches for why we aren't doing anything now, why we're not where we're supposed to. Well, it's been a really, really rough road, and this person did this, and this did that, and this did that. And as a therapist, I'm here to tell you, you absolutely need to heal from your past. You absolutely need to be able to process different traumas and events that have happened in your past, but the goal is never to go back there and live in it. Some of us mentally are living 15 years ago, but it's 2024. And a lot of us are struggling in the present because we have not dealt with the past. Some of us cannot just find our footing because we're still wanting to pattern our lives as we're living in the past, because in the past things were like this. In the past we had all this trauma. In the past there's been all this disdain, discord, all of these different things. But our present doesn't even look like that, but we treat our present like our past. In the past, we didn't have support. We didn't have friends. Now we have support. We have friends, but we treat them kind of like, I don't know. We keep people at a distance. And again, it's not to negate our past. It's not to say that our pasts are not important, because our pasts are part of us. But we're not the sum total of everything that we did, or just what we did in the past. We are who we are today as well. And our past shape us. And sometimes our past do a good number on us, honestly, and they create things, and we have issues and problems. Well, even when they're health things, like physical health things, it's not always mentally and emotionally, but and spiritually. But it's all of those things. But one of the things we have to remember is that we're not our past. You're not your past. You're not your past. Even sometimes when your past was great and you are living on something that you did that was great 10 years ago. And today, that's all you can talk about is what you did 10 years ago. But today, you're kind of like, well, I did what I needed to do because I did it 10 years ago. I love to say every day you wake up is another opportunity to get it right. And every day that you wake up means that God's not finished with you yet. God still has plans for you. God still has things that he wants you to do. So that means that even if you had a great last 20 years, if you're 90 years old, if you still got your mind, and I don't even say even when you don't, your presence is still needed. It's definitely still needed, but even when you get up in age and you still have your mind, being able to share that wisdom. A lot of times our seasoned saints, I like to call them, sometimes don't feel like they're important because the past was great and now they're older and they're overlooked and all those types of things. But if you're still here, you still have a purpose. There's no time like the present, because the past is over. You can't redo it, undo it. You can try to go back and make some better choices now, but you can't undo the negative choices that you've done in the past. You can't undo things. And the future is not promised. Tomorrow's not promised. It's just not. But you're not your past. All your mistakes, all your shortcomings, all the things you didn't have an opportunity to do, all the things you said that you shouldn't have said, all the, enemies or frenemies that you've made in the past, you're not your past. Sometimes it's hard to know how to get up and live in the present, but I'm here to tell you this morning that it's possible and that that's what we're supposed to do. You're not your past. The good, the bad, all that stuff is great. It is a part of you. It contributes to who you are, the way you think, and all of those things, but you're not your past. So when we're talking about image this month, understanding, because last week we talked about how you want to be seen. And I'm telling you this week, you're not your past. And I know I'm sure a lot of people say, I wish people would stop bringing it up. I wish people would not talk about it. Well, sometimes people only see your past because they're not willing to see further. But even with that, I just also want to say that even if someone chooses to only see you by your past or only see you as what you used to be, that's still not the way God sees you. And the way God sees you is what actually matters. And God does not see you by your mistakes, the things you did not do the right way, or all the things that you should have done that you didn't do. God does not see you like that. God does not define you by who you used to be. So we need to stop defining ourselves and each other. Oh, she used to be something else. He used to be this. And who were you? Okay. And none of you are who you were. And let's say this, if they're still struggling, pray for them. Maybe help them if you can. Maybe, or just again, pray that they get the help that they need to be who they need to be. It's not our job to condemn each other because they haven't come as far as we have. I could continue, but we're at 15 minutes. So we're going to bring it in. So thank you. That has been our Wellness Wednesday. But I just want to remind everyone that we do have our Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we have our monthly podcast, Hashtag from a Christian, Hashtag from a Therapist with Dr. Natatu on the first Sundays of the month, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we talked about this before. But again, I just want you to continue to Be mindful and plan. Mark your calendars. Our next episode of Hashtag from a Christian, Hashtag from a Therapist with Dr. Natatsu, episode 22, will be on Sunday, July the 7th. Sunday, July 7th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be a new month. We will have a new theme at that point, but I want you to mark your calendars. God is good and God is allowing us to utilize this platform. So we are, I always say this, we're very, very grateful for opportunities to share one with another. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling, every time we are together, I want to encourage you to be loving, be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as towards yourselves. We pray that you have a magnificent Wednesday, that we're remembering we're not our past. We're not our past, and they aren't either. So we're not judging people off their past either. We are moving forward, and I'm prayerful also that if you need help understanding that and moving forward, that you get the support and resources that you need. And Lord willing, we will see you next Wednesday at 7 a.m. live for our Eastern Standard Time for our next Wellness Wednesday. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and blessings and love to each and every one of you.